Hi, I want to share a little bit of information about the filters of the mind today. And basically, the filters of the mind are how you react to things and why. So, you might have had an experience where you have reacted to something in a way that you really didn't expect. Perhaps you've burst into tears or you've had a really angry outburst, and you think to yourself, I don't know why I did that. I'm not feeling angry. I'm not feeling emotional. Why has it actually happened? I know that that's happened to me. It's happened at work. It's happened in relationships. And I was actually blown away when I learned that there is actually a reason, because I always thought there's no reason for that to happen. But there is actually a reason that happens. And when I found out why, it made so much sense to me. And I've shared it with quite a lot of other people since then, and every single person says, they've got that reaction where they go, right, okay, that's really logical, I get it now. It's totally like the penny has dropped for them. So I want to share this with you briefly today, just to let you know what's going on when you have this response or this reaction. So you see, what's going on is that every time you experience an event, 2 million bits of information per second are coming into your brain. So that is through what you see, what you hear, what you taste, smell, how it makes you feel, and even what you say to yourself. So you've got these 2 million bits of information per second coming into your brain, but your brain simply cannot handle all of that information. It would send you into complete sensory overload if it took all of that in and processed it all. So what it does is it deletes, distorts, or generalizes the information. So what do I mean by that? Well, some of the information that comes in, it simply filters it. It simply deletes this information because it doesn't match any other information that you've got in your brain, or it distorts it. And by that, I'll give you an example of that. You might have experienced the same thing as someone else. Perhaps you've been in the same room and you've been part of the same conversation, but later when you go to discuss it and you say, remember when that person said this, and the other person goes, they never said that. Or you say, I really love that blue jacket that they were wearing, and the other person says, their jacket wasn't blue, it was red. So we can all experience the same thing, but we interpret things differently. Or our brain generalizes the information. Those things that we hear ourselves say, like, everyone's telling me that I should do this. That's an example of a generalization. Everyone's not telling you to do something. Certain people might be telling you to do something. So that's just an example of what generalizing is. So what happens is all of this information comes in, your brain can't handle all of it, so it filters the information, and it filters it based on your past experiences. So your core beliefs and values, the memories that you have from previous experiences in your life, your understanding of language, how you see the world, and all of these different filters it goes through. And so it creates an internal representation for you. So it forms a picture in your head, or how you actually see that event. And that internal representation, combined with our physiology, it creates a state. And by what I mean by a state is an emotional state. So it's like your brain is running through an internal processing system, kind of like a computer. And this is happening unconsciously because it's your unconscious brain that is essentially running the show. It actually makes up approximately 95% of your mind. All right, so it's running the show until you take control. So we're actually responding and reacting to situations, to current situations, based on things that have happened to us in the past and the way that we've reacted to those things in the past. So, for example, if you're someone who hates public speaking, you'll do anything to get out of getting up in front of people to speak. So perhaps there's a situation at work where the boss has said, Beck, you need to get up in front of all of these people and you've got to give a presentation on such and such a topic. Now that might send me into a spin. I might start feeling sick and shaky. I might go red. When I actually get to having to make that presentation, I might forget my words. And I'm feeling really, really embarrassed in front of all these people. Now, you're not reacting or responding in that way based on this current situation. It's very unlikely that it's this current situation that is making you feel like this. It's actually a time in the past, perhaps when you were even a child, when you were asked to stand up in front of people and present. Maybe it was at show and tell at school, and for some reason you were embarrassed. Maybe the teacher told you that you hadn't done a good job. Maybe the other kids laughed at you, and so you felt sick, you felt shaky because you felt really embarrassed. And your body and your mind has stored that information. And so what's happening now in a current situation where you're asked to do the same thing and stand up in front of people, your mind and your body goes, I remember that. I remember that event when I was embarrassed and I felt shaky and I felt sick and I didn't like that experience of speaking in public. And so now the unconscious mind is reaching back to those memories and it's going, this is how you react in this particular situation. And that happens with everything. It's not just things like public speaking. It can even be just in a simple conversation with someone. You've stored a memory, or you have a belief or a value, and it's your unconscious mind that accesses that information and creates this, or along with the physiology in your body, it creates this internal representation, and that comes out in a reaction or a response. So it's only when we interrupt this pattern and we take charge of these internal filters and we learn how to change them that we can learn how to react differently, or better still, and a much better word, one that I like better, is that we actually learn to respond rather than react. So when we do this, we change ourselves mentally, emotionally, and even physically. We change our behavior. So you might be asking at this point, Beck, how do I change this? And it's a really good question. Well, the first step is really understanding how your mind works. This is just a teeny tiny little bit that I've shared with you today. And you can actually learn how to do this by coming along to our Mindshift Mastery event on Saturday, the 27th of May. It's here in Adelaide. It's going to be live in person with me. You're going to get 3 hours in the room with me. And I'm going to be sharing exactly how it is that your brain works, how these filters work. And it's actually the secret that allowed me to completely change my life. When I heard this information, as I said at the beginning, it was so logical to me, and I am a very logical person, so it all made sense. But I was able to completely change my life in a really, really positive way. And in fact, one of my best friends just this week said to me, Beck, you are a completely different person to who you used to be in the best possible way. I take that as a great compliment because I have made a lot of changes in my life, but it's only when I learned how my mind works and how I can master it that I was able to do that. So as I said, at Mindshift Mastery, you're going to get 3 hours in the room with me. You're going to learn this secret about how your mind works. And I'm going to share with you 3 very simple but powerful tools that help you find this awareness and begin to actually make change. So we're going to hash out those tools as well. And you're going to be able to mix with some like-minded people who are there, who want to make changes in their lives as well. And the best thing about this is it is only $47. This particular information, or you can learn it yourself, you can read books, you can watch webinars, you can do courses, and you could pay thousands of dollars for this information. But I'm only charging $47 to come along to this Mindshift Mastery event on Saturday the 27th of May. So check out the comments for the link to book, or go straight to our website moonbeammonday.com.au and book in. And I look forward to sharing these amazing secrets that are the beginning of changing your life. I'll see you there.